Hey, welcome to the E4 podcast. I'm your host, Migs, and with me today are two comedians from the Victoria area. We got Bubba Flores.
What's going on?
And Cody.
Cody Shugart.
Sure, I know your last name. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Only the most common last name you'll ever hear. So.
Shugart? You think Sugart's a common last name?
That is not a
It's not. I only know.
Dude, it is the most common last name.
Bro, I only know two, and that's you and your brother.
Yeah.
It's the most common.
Are you serious? Never heard that name.
Yeah.
Never heard Sugar.
Common in one sense. Like, what sense are you talking about here? Like, number-wise?
I was just being facetious.
Oh,
facetious.
okay.
I mean,
So it's not common.
obviously not.
I was like, because I don't know.
I don't think I've ever met anybody last name Shugart except for people at a family reunion, maybe. But that's it.
Like my last name is Flores, right? That's a pretty common Mexican last name. Not related to a lot of Floreses though. Like I believe Aubrey's last name is Flores.
Yeah, Aubrey.
Right?
Yeah,
Well, we're not related.
unfortunately, Aubrey's not here.
Yeah.
She, I don't know, probably drank too much last night. But yeah, Flores is pretty common. My last name's Ramirez, which is, I would say semi popular in the Hispanic community. Whatever.
Oh, we're talking in the Hispanic community. Okay. Well, mine's super
Popular.
super popular in the Hispanic community.
Yeah,
A lot of big redheaded dudes in the Mexican world. Do you have brothers?
I do. I have two younger brothers.
And what are their names?
So the youngest one is Brian Ramirez. He is the editor for the podcast, and he also does short films for E4. And then the middle child, that's Eric Ramirez.
Okay.
And he lives up in Austin.
Now, what kind of short films do y'all do?
Normally it's all comedy. Just bad comedy, though, dude. Nothing that y'all would like.
What do you mean?
Because y'all feel like y'all are comedians. Y'all have,
Well, I mean, now I need to know. I mean, like, where can I watch this?
Yeah.
No, so he just we have a couple on YouTube, a couple from our earlier days, and we wanted to do better at them. So he actually took time on this time to like write a script and like actually like cast like some like real decent people that are about doing some short film stuff. So they just had a little practice run at it this past weekend.
All local people?
Yeah, it's all Victoria people.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I think I know Brian.
You probably do.
I think I do.
He's a common face around these parts.
I think we tried to do a video together a long time ago.
I think that's right. So I think you're referring to the early days with Jake Ramirez and like Gunnar Ritchie was another guy that we used to do films with and stuff. But they used
You're
to do
not related to Jake.
No.
That's what I was thinking about.
We're just two comrades with the same last name. But so Jake does a lot of video stuff too for the Victoria film industry or whatever. Yeah.
So yeah, we did something. It was some short.
I don't think that short ever got released.
It didn't, and I wanted it to.
I wonder what happened to it. I don't know. 'Cause a lot of times we'll go film and it's just like, man, this is dog shit, guys. Like we can't release this. Like what's wrong? And like really, like that's just us being petty. Because I mean, we started like filming off of a normal iPhone and we didn't have real cameras or microphones. We just fucking took to it like that. But we had a humble start. Speaking of starts, how did y'all get started into stand-up comedy? Like, what goes through your mind process of like, oh, I'm pretty funny. I think I can stand in front of a few hundred people and try to make them laugh.
For me, yeah, it was just I'm a goofy person, and just I try to make people laugh in whatever situation we're in. Get in trouble in school for it. Make my family laugh and crack up. And people always say, and I loved stand-up growing up. I feel like in the early 2000s it was booming. It blew up at a certain point where it was everywhere and on TV all the time. And I would just sit there and I would watch Comedy Central Presents all 30 minutes. I would record them, watch them. Dave Chappelle's. I just would watch it over and over again. Dane Cook's stuff when it was huge. I would just I just loved it. But it wasn't until I met a buddy of mine named Steve Solis. I don't know if you know him.
No.
I started to work with him, and he goes, "You ever thought about doing comedy?" I'm like, "Yeah, all the time. Think about it all the time. Just don't know what to do." He goes, well, he had used to do it back in the day, and he goes, well, we should go try. We should, I've been thinking about trying to do it again. He's all, let's write some stuff, and let's go do an open mic in Corpus. And I was like, okay. And I did. I wrote some stuff and went to an open mic in Corpus. Got on stage, did 4 minutes, and loved it. Just ate it up. I'm a middle child, so I need that attention. It's just, I don't know. I loved it. And then I just I've been chasing that ever since. And, yeah.
Chasing the high?
Yes, because, man, when I get off stage sometimes and it's a good one, I'm on another level. Like, I'm feeling it's awesome. So
talking about your first time, like that has to be incredibly nerve-wracking.
Yes.
To stand on stage. And the thing about it's one thing to stand on stage and like do a performance and just like a play or like a speech or something.
Yeah.
But to do comedy, I feel like it's a little tougher because you're expected to make your audience laugh.
That is the whole point of it, right?
Yeah.
That is the whole point. Is I'm going to say words and it's going to produce laughter out of a complete stranger.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. And
it's harder because they're expecting it. It's like those people that on the streets that say, "Hey, here's $5 if you can make me laugh."
It's hard.
Those people are hard to make laugh because they're in the mode of like, all right, make me laugh. Yeah. But if it's just like random off the stuff that you're not expecting it, then you laugh a little easier, right? Because it's unexpected. But y'all don't get that privilege of being unexpected.
So very nerve-wracking. But I'd done skits and plays, in front of people. I had done public speaking already by this point. I played music since I was like 14, so, on stage. But, man, playing music is completely different than this because music, you can bomb and, like, mess up. I had a drummer stop playing in the middle of a song, and we just all kind of just stopped, and we're like, what's going on? He's like, I just forgot where we're at. He's like, we're going to start over, ready? And we just kept going. Nobody said anything later. They just kind of like, oh, that's weird.
That's weird.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Cannot do that. And comedy is different because it's the first time I'm telling something from my head that wasn't pre-written before me, wasn't a song that I wrote with 3 other dudes. It's just something that I thought about, and I'm like, that's funny. I wonder if other people will think it's funny. You know what I mean?
So what about your first time? Can you recall?
I remember my first time. It was the beginning of the summer.
Yeah.
He was there first time. I've been that guy. I always try to make people laugh. Like I was class clown type guy, and and then even at work, and then a lot of people would consider me the life of the party. Because I'm not afraid to get up on stage. I'm not afraid to pretty much do anything. I mean, hell, I got my name. Like really, I do when hurricanes come through. I'd have that Not Jim Cantori videos that I do. I go chase storms. I was just in Corpus for that last little.
I don't know if you've ever seen him do this. It's hilarious.
Chase storms.
He goes and chases storms in a yellow.
Yeah, in a yellow poncho. I call myself Not Jim Cantori, and I just get out there and yell. And I'll go and I have videos on all over Facebook.
Oh, dude, no, that's awesome though.
Yeah,
this is before his comedy. This is just him being a silly goose.
Yeah, well, this is just
Cody in the wild.
I just like having fun and trying to life. I'm one of those people who believe life's way too short not to laugh and not to have a good time. So 100%. I like to make people laugh. But the first time I did, I went to San Antonio. I was nervous.
Oh, that was your first time, right?
Well, that was my first time, and I was nervous, and my right leg was shaking like a leaf. But each time, and ever since then, I've been going every week since.
He did great. I was there.
Really? Nailed it the first time?
I got to go that night, and I thought, and I think I told him afterwards, it was just put together so well.
Yeah?
You know what I mean? You wouldn't have guessed it. It was his first time because he didn't pause. I did tell him he was a little too fast, though, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't pause.
And see, I have my degrees in communications. So I've made public speaking, all this. I actually took a stand-up comedy and improv class in college. And so getting in front
I
of
didn't even
people
know
and
they had
talking.
that.
Yeah, what a class. I want to take that class.
No, it was awesome. It was here at UHV. Dr. Holm, when he was the head of the communications department, he actually taught it. But I picked it up, like, when I decided I was going to do this, like, I wasn't just going to, like, go on a whim. I started reading books and how to write comedy and, like, how to structure things and how, to format it. And then he told me whenever we go to these open mics, you're probably going to see people that you're going to hear stuff that's just terrible. And he was right. I mean, I sit there and I'm just like, whoa. Whoa.
Sometimes people will call me or message me every time they see I have a show. Dude, I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to do comedy. Blah, blah, blah. And I say the same thing. I'm just like, just go do it. Like,
Yeah.
So comedy is weird because Jerry Seinfeld has this whole thing. It's like, let's say I boxed, right? Let's say I went to Heart of a Champion and I did classes and I boxed. I'm not a boxer. I'm just a dude who goes to a class and punches. I'm not a boxer. But with comedy, anybody, you, me, anybody could go to an open mic, and the very first time you ever go on stage, the very first time they're going to be like, the next comic coming to the stage is Migs Ramirez. You've never done comedy a day in your life, and they go, the next comedian is,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the weird thing about comedy. But so I tell people that I'm like, just go. I'm like, literally, you could do it any night of the week. Yeah, not in Victoria. Nowhere in Victoria.
Yeah, you got to be,
Victoria.
you gotta be ready to travel.
We have to drive. I tell the story to other comics. I'm like it's like an old timey West thing. I'm like, I have to drive an hour and a half to tell 3-4 minutes of jokes. You know what I mean? And I did it in the beginning. I did it a lot, not a lot, but more to get out there. Now I don't do it as much because I don't have the time, and I want to do open mics and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Take a pause.
Yeah, let's take a little quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, and we are back on the E4 podcast. Sorry about that, a little technical difficulties. It happens sometimes a little more than often here at our little rinky-dink operation we have here.
AK, he ran out of beer.
Had to get another one. So we were talking about our first time on doing our comedy things. My first time only lasted 30 seconds.
You did comedy?
And I forgot the condom. Oh, comedy. Oh.
I got excited.
Oh,
No.
shit.
No,
He's
no.
got jokes.
Never did that one. I figured I'd try some jokes out on y'all since
That was good.
y'all are comedies. Y'all are comedians,
No, I was talking about how people like just message and be like, I want to do this, I want to try this, I want to do whatever.
Yeah.
And I told them the same thing. I'm like, write down 3 to 5 minutes of something. Mm-hmm. Talk to your mirror. Talk to your wife or your friends. Just try to say it in one sitting, and then go on stage and just try. I was like, the worst that could happen is nobody laughs, and you figure out what works.
That's a terrible feeling.
It's a terrible feeling.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you about that. Like, the worst that could happen. Now, I would say experiencing it's probably real bad. Then you probably feel kind of bad afterwards. But I'm sure you learn a lot from getting booed, or getting booed, or just having like a dead audience,
So the more I like comedy, I listen to podcasts of comedians, and every comedian says the same thing. It's like, you have to bomb.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be terrible. Like, I don't know, Hannibal Buress, any comedians or whatever. Hannibal Buress was terrible apparently when he first started in Chicago. All of the people like that he came up with that we're talking about there, he was just terrible. And then all of a sudden he wasn't. Like that was it. It just all of a sudden clicked. I've never been booed. Yeah, I've had audiences that will chuckle. I've never truly had. I mean, I'm gonna jinx myself. I've never truly had a terrible night. You know what I mean? Man, if anything, people just I did something, and I'm telling my jokes, and this lady wasn't booing or heckling, but she just kept talking. She just kept. I would tell a joke, and she would be like, "Oh yeah," she'd be like, "Uh-huh." I'm like, okay. And I would tell my joke, and she'd be like, "Yeah, that happened to my friend the other day." And I'm like, okay. And I just keep telling my joke.
It's not a conversation, lady.
And she goes, "Isn't that weird when that happens?" And I go, "Hey, this isn't a town hall meeting. I'm not looking for feedback here." I was like, thank you for laughing, but I don't need the. We're not talking. Like, we're not having a conversation. This is a one way street, and so, but and Cody had messaged me and called me one time talking about doing comedy. I told him the same thing. I was like, bro, just try, like, just try. I was like, and I just happened to have I had a gig coming up at that San Antonio bar. I was like, dude, I'm going to do this open mic. I was like, this open mic books like a comic for their night, and I got booked for that night. I go, I'm doing this gig. I was like, but it's an open mic, so come and you know, do the open mic, you know. And he did. He wrote down his stuff. He practiced in front of his cows, he said, and went after it. And so yeah, when people are always like, I want to try, I'm like, just go do it.
Yeah, you just gotta do it, right?
I'm like, just go do it.
Yeah, I guess I run into some of the same stuff in my space as well, like, you know, podcasting and just like YouTubing and stuff. Everyone says they want to do it, but I'm just like, yo, just do it. Like, there's literally nothing stopping you. And I always tell them, like, I didn't know anything. I just did it one day. And it was like, my first 20 episodes of the podcast was all garbage. But we kept at it and we got better and we learned. And honestly, like, looking back at it, like, my worst podcasts were my most valuable podcasts, because that's what, like, you know, I would watch my podcast and I'd be like, oh my God, that was awful. We fucked up on everything. But then that made me like, that inspired me to just do better on the next one, right? Like the next one, we're going to fucking hit it out of the park. And then we do it, and then it kind of just like snowballs, right? Then we build momentum and we just keep going with it. So, I mean, I feel like it's kind of be, for comedians, could be the same thing. Like, right, you bomb, and then you just come back with a fucking vengeance.
Well, I don't even think it's podcasts or comedians. I think it's anything. We learn from our failures, or you're supposed to learn from your failures.
Yeah.
And learn from it and move forward from it. So that's the way I've always I always think failure is the best tool to move forward and to get better. So
I would say so.
My little tidbit.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. Let me ask y'all something. Being comedians, does comedy get like ruined for you? Like when you watch other stand-up comedians, like, are y'all like,
sometimes,
you know, because I feel like y'all probably have a different view. Like you have X-ray vision on it to where you can like pick it apart as something like me.
I'm a big fan of comedy.
Yeah.
And so I love it. And so like when I go to an open or go to any show, I want comics to do great, and I want everybody to do well. It's not a sport, you know what I mean? Like there are laughs to go around. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just because this guy's killing it doesn't mean this guy can't do well also. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And so yeah, it changed it a little bit. I'm a little more receptive. Like, I'm like, that was a great, even if I'm not laughing, I'm like, that was a good, like, you can see that joke, like, boom, you know what I mean?
He's a little nicer than I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you this right now, because I sit here, even before that, it's not about even being a comedian. Like, if somebody says something they think's funny, and I'm like, what the hell was that? You know, and look, I get it. We're going to open mics. People are trying new stuff. But there's some stuff, like I heard this one guy say some stuff, and my mind just literally blown. And then I start thinking, because comedy is like art. It's everything's subjective. What you find funny, what I find funny, what he finds funny, you know what I mean? But still, usually between the three of us,
there's going to be something.
There's going to be something that connects.
Yeah.
But then you sit there when one hits you and God, you know, just start saying some off the wall stuff. Like when I was in Houston the other night, one guy went up there and just started yelling at everybody, just laced with cuss words, and just, I mean, in his head, the poor bastard thought it was funny.
He's all, I am killing it right now.
But everybody in the crowd, we're sitting there like,
he's all, I am
what
on
fire
right
are we
now.
watching? I mean, but no, it is. I mean, and I just can't.
No, that's something though, because that dude didn't prepare, didn't do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I went to one where a guy went up there and for 3 minutes, this dude, all he said was, you know what I'm saying? He's all, you know what I mean? Praise God. And that's what he kept saying. He did not tell one sentence of a joke.
Oh my God.
He didn't tell one punchline. He just kept saying that stuff over and over again, walking around the stage, and at the end of it, he's all, "Hey, thank y'all so much. God bless." He's all, "One love," and then walked off. And I was like, "What?
What was that?
What was that?" I was like, "That wasn't a joke. Like, there was nothing jokey about it."
Is he just trying to get used to being on stage?
Those
or
kind
something?
of people are just people who just happen to walk into that place and like, "Oh, what you're doing? Open mic?"
Well, I think there's some of those, but I honestly think there's some people out there who are just blind and oblivious to what actually comes out of their mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be honest with you, if I didn't think that I was funny, I guarantee I wouldn't be up standing on that stage.
Well, yeah, but that's all of them,
and
though, right? Everybody's got to
mean,
think. All the comedians now, and that's not true.
Someone-
I know comics who think
I
they're
think
not
what plays a big part in it, which I feel like the comedian world, especially at the local level, all have really good support communities, right? Like, all the comedians kind of support each other, and they want everybody to do good.
And that's truth.
And I think some people that bomb like that, like the people we're talking about, maybe aren't tapped into that kind of support.
Well, if you have a real support system and you bomb, you need that support system to tell you, "Hey, bud, we need to work on that set."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to work on that
yeah,
set.
this is what you did wrong. Let me show you.
And I think a lot of these support systems, these different comedy communities, I don't think they do that. I think they're afraid to hurt other people's feelings.
It depends on the set you're talking about, but yeah, probably.
And I think they're more inclined to just say, "Hey, brother, good job," and to give that fun. I'd rather you give me honest feedback. Yeah. If I sucked, I want you to come tell me, "Hey, Cody, you suck."
I haven't seen you suck yet.
Right, but that's what I'm saying though. If I do, I expect that because that's the way I don't want it sugarcoated.
It would depend too. You would have to ask me. Like, I wouldn't just straight up go and tell you. You know what I mean? You'd have to be like, "Hey, man, what you think of my set?" You know what I mean? And I would tell you. Like, I don't really go out of my way to tell somebody, "Hey, dude,
you shit sucked."
I'm like, you sucked. It was nice to meet you on Bubba. You know?
Well, I guess other people in the crowd could probably do that for you, though, right?
Well, like, you gotta. I mean, you can. See
well,
it.
but see, not necessarily at open mics because you go places and there's no crowd reaction because your whole crowd's comedians and the deal. So if you don't, and that's the hardest part I've struggled with is getting feedback from them, trying to figure out what's funny, what's not funny, and that's why I like going to Corpus, where you got a mixture of comedians, you got a mixture of crowd, and then you can really look at your stuff and be like, all right, well, this works, this doesn't. And it gives you a better barometer than those rooms that are just comedians and where everybody's a hard ass and they don't want to laugh. And it's just like, all right, so I leave that room not knowing where I stand with this material.
Is it harder to make other comedians laugh than your average Joe?
Yes.
And just because they're more, I guess they're more.
Unless you're me, because if you say something funny, I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah.
I'm not that type.
I'll laugh. Like I said, I like to laugh anyway.
Yeah.
But you know you're doing well if you're in a different place and you do some jokes, and comics you don't know are telling you, "Hey, great set, dude." They don't know you nothing. They don't know you. We're not homies or whatever. And so if they come up to me and be like, "Dude, solid set" or whatever, then you know you're onto something. You know.
And I can tell you this: out of all the places I traveled, like Corpus has been the best for me. I've enjoyed the people there. I enjoyed the people who come in there to listen to comedy, but I enjoy all the comedians because everybody does give good positive feedback. There's some funny people there. There's some not so funny people there. But either way, it's a good little crowd to, they lean on each other pretty well and they take care of each other pretty well. And you can feel that camaraderie with those guys.
And then you gotta understand, like, Cody's newer to the game. Some comics, like, let's say you saw a dude bomb, right? At open mic in Corpus. I've seen that dude kill like a room full of 200 people, but that's just him. Open mics are for comics to write new stuff, try new stuff.
Yeah.
And guess what? Not all of it's gonna hit a grand slam. Some of it might. Some of it all might be duds, but you don't know until you try, right? So you have a comic who I've seen kill, seen it. Like, I don't know how many times. Seen this dude get up in front of however many crowds. Do great. Go up to an open mic, tell new jokes, not get the response he needs. He just wipes it off, keeps on moving.
Yeah, because he's kind of practicing, right? He's
you're
testing
practicing.
the waters.
And so that's what you got to understand about open mics in general.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I guess open mics are pretty cool because I guess you could see or you could probably hear some things that like some comedians are still working on, like works in progress. Is like,
It's fun to watch. Like if you get to see, like, I don't know if you've been in corpus enough to see like a guy progress that joke. You know what I mean? Like, let's say he did it one night, you were there, and it didn't do so well. Maybe he tried it the next night, did something else. Maybe he tried it the next night.
I have. There's a couple of people that I don't know. You remember Shaky Jake?
Yeah.
Dude, I feel there's been nights like when he started, like when I first got there, it wasn't. He got a few laughs, but he tweaked things, his delivery, verbiage, and everything else, and then he's starting to get a lot of laughs.
Yeah,
and he's really cool.
My jokes I tell now are not the same that I told the first time I told them. You know what I mean? Like, either I've changed the cadence of it, I've changed the timing of it, I've changed a story of it, I've changed the name of it. Something, I've tweaked it. I keep tweaking it to make it better.
It's ever evolving.
It's
right?
It's always moving. Sometimes comedians help me out. I give this guy credit all the time. There's a buddy of mine named Lito. He lives in Corpus, and I have this joke that I think is funny. I laugh at it almost every time I do it. It's very silly and juvenile, and it's about a sticker. I was like, yeah, man, we got you this sticker. It's got a grape on it. It says you're doing a great job. And I love that joke. I think it's so funny and stupid. And he comes up to me one day. He goes, that joke is really funny. I go, yeah. He goes, but you're telling it wrong. I go, what do you mean? He goes, all of it's funny. He goes, when you say, hey, I got a sticker for you, that's funny. He goes, it's got a grape on it. That's funny. Says you're doing a grape job. That's funny. And when you scratch it, it smells like grapes. He goes, you have all these funny things. He goes, but yet nobody can hear them because they're laughing at that first thing. And you say it too fast, and they don't hear the other parts of it.
Yeah.
And so literally now when I tell that joke, I go, hey, I got a sticker. And pause. It's got a grape on it. Pause. Says you're doing a grape job. Pause. When you scratch it, it smells like grapes. And I always contribute that to him. And so like stuff just keeps moving and evolving. So like no joke that I told the first time, except for literally my first joke. My first joke I ever told on stage, I still tell it like that exact way.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't tell it often because it's dumb. And but that was the very first joke I ever told on stage, and I still like it, and I'll probably do it this next time at Dodge because I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, y'all were just recently at Dodge.
Yes.
Dodge City.
Dodge City.
Dude, I hadn't been in that joint forever, and it hasn't changed whatsoever.
I've never noticed the moose until that night.
Dude, that moose.
I've never noticed that moose.
It's a huge ass moose
I've
up
never
there.
noticed it. He
That
brought
moose
it
has
up.
been there forever.
No,
Yeah,
he brought
it's
it
dusty.
up. He goes, look at this big ass moose. I'm like, never seen that before in my life. I
The old
was like, I
party
used to come
moose.
here all the time.
Yeah, because we keep it in a dark area, right?
Yeah.
So
I love it.
it's there though.
We
It's
took
just-
a picture next to it.
I bet that moose is filthy as shit.
Dude,
though.
It's dusty
gross.
as hell. Probably we don't clean it.
I'd say that moose probably hadn't been clean since he was hung on the wall 50 years ago.
Yeah, probably so, dude. It's a big ass moose, and it's up high too. So you're like, oh shit.
You
maybe
know
it's
that
not
moose
high.
got mites.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just random. That's one thing about Dodge is there's some random shit in there,
Yeah.
like just the random moose up in there on the wall. There's like a fucking little bobcat or mountain lion on the other side of it. Like
Hey, I heard y'all ran out of beer that night.
at the comedy show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we ran out of some of the beer. Like I want to say either like
Shiner?
Miller Lite or Shiner.
I think I ran out of
like,
Shiner.
Yeah, I think we ran out of Shiner. Like there some of the beer we just don't have that much stock. Also, there's still some product stuff availability issues going on.
So
some things we can't get as much.
So there's no comedy in Victoria, right?
Oh, dude. I mean, not anymore.
There's none. There's no comedy club in
Yeah.
Victoria. There's no open mic in Victoria. There's no whatever. So we have to drive however long to go do anything, right? And I was talking to my cousin Kenny, about it. I was like, it sucks. I always have to drive to go do comedy. It's very rare I get to do comedy in Victoria. He goes, well, why don't you do something yourself? And I'm like, oh, because I don't want to. You know what I mean? I was like,
What do you mean?
I don't want the responsibility. I don't want to promote it. I was like, I like to just go to do a show, get up there, tell my jokes, leave. I don't want the responsibility of having to get people through the door, of counting tickets, of doing this and that. And he goes, well, I'll help, and we should try. And I'm like, man, where? I go, where will we even do it? We named some places, and I was like, too big. I was like, too small. I was like, they wouldn't let us do it. I was like, they don't have a stage, and
Yeah, you need a stage.
And he was all like, Dodge City. I go, they have done comedy there before. I know that. I go, all right, ask Carlos. He asked Carlos. Carlos said yes. I reached out to a friend of mine that I always reach out to first from Corpus named Javi. Hey, when are you available? He was just doing he was about to record his hour special. So he was doing this little stretch of small shows here and there everywhere. I go, when are you available? He said September 21st or whatever. And I said, you want to do a show in Victoria? He said, yeah. I said, tight.
Hey, you want to hear a funny thing? I hate to interrupt you. That motherfucker just said he just got a job as a substitute teacher.
He is a substitute teacher, yeah.
That's some crazy shit. Yeah, he said that. He said that on stage. Yeah, he was the host Thursday night.
Yeah,
and he told everybody he got as a substitute teacher.
He did that before. I know that he does that off and on still, I think.
What?
But and so I was like, okay. Javi, he even cut me a deal on money. He was like, hey man, I usually charge this. He's like, you're a first time promoter. I'll charge you this. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm bringing Tina, it's this other girl.
Yeah.
She's from Robstown. I kept saying Corpus, but she's from Robstown. I kept messed that up. I felt bad about it. She charged this much, and I was like, okay. I need 40 people to show up to this show.
Easy.
I was like, I need 40 people to show up to the show. Not easy. I was worried.
Were you worried? 40 people?
To the day of, I was worried. I was like, okay, 40 people. That's it. And then the night of, I get there. It's like 8 o'clock already. There's like 10 people there. I'm like, okay, man, you're okay. I'm like, you're all right. And then all of a sudden, just boom.
All at once, man.
140 people showed up. And it slammed. We didn't expect it. We didn't rearrange the chairs well enough. We should have pushed the tables closer to the stage. People had to sit on the other side of the bar, which I didn't like because they couldn't hear the sound.
Yeah.
Y'all got slammed.
Yeah, I don't think we expected to get slammed because our previous comedy shows averages out to like a pretty average night, like as far as people go. But y'all had a lot of people come in, like 140 people, all within a matter of like 30 minutes.
They came in, boom, out of nowhere. We're running out of ones. Y'all were running around all bananas. I even asked. I don't know if you thought I was joking. I go, do you need me to do something?
Oh yeah, I just took it as a joke.
You did. I was like, I think he thinks I'm joking.
Ha ha.
No.
No.
For real.
Comedian
I was like,
over here.
No, I was like, do you need me to go get? I asked, right? I go, do you need me to go grab glasses? Because I heard you say something like, dude, we're running out of glasses. We need somebody.
Oh yeah.
And I go, do you need me to go get glasses? And you kind of just go, nah. And I was like, he thinks I'm joking. But no, I was.
The comedian joking. Imagine that.
I would have totally helped out. I wanted to help out. I wanted the whole night to go well.
Yeah.
And that means people being served.
Yeah, no, we did get behind the bar, like as far as things going, but some of the staff, you just gotta kind of like light a fire under their ass, like, yo, this is the time we need to be moving, not just standing here. Like, there's a lot of people here, and like, it goes hand in hand. Like, you want to tell good jokes, we want to give good service behind the bar, make some good drinks. So it's just like, let's not fuck this up for these comedians. Like, let's get it, let's go.
Yeah, drinking at a comedy show is a must,
Oh, dude, alcohol, the social lubricant is what I call it.
I've done clean shows. It's fine. They're good. Coffee shops and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and those are always fun too. But just drinking makes it better.
I feel like those are good vibes. Like the comedy coffee shops, those are just good vibes.
Yeah,
I feel like people are just there to have a good time. So when people are having a good time, I feel like they just laugh easier too.
Yeah. So we did that. It was successful.
Mm-hmm.
And my cousin was like, let's do it again. And I was like, man. But then other comics were reaching out to me. Hey, I saw you doing a show in Victoria. We want to do it. And I'm like, I'm not really trying to promote right now. And other guys brought up a show to me. And I'm like, man, let me get you in touch with this other guy, Joey Sandoval. He does comedy shows. He'll bring like big comics to the community center. Let me give you in touch with this dude. Like, let y'all do it. And then a friend of mine from the Valley messaged me, and he's all like, hey, man, I want to do a show in Victoria. Let's do it. And I was like, all right, let's do it. His name is Mario Salazar. He's from the Valley. So this guy is so funny, dude. He is a presence on stage. He is so funny. And so he's going to come on the 10th, September 10th.
Oh, yeah. On your next show.
On the next show.
It's also at Dodge City.
At Dodge City, September 10th. Everybody's there, I need 40 people to show up. I need 40 or 45 people to show up.
I'm sure you'll have at least 200 show up. I'm sure.
I hope.
But no, that show last time, that was a good show. Like, I know you had some newbies up there. I couldn't tell that you were new at all.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
I thought you were a veteran at it, but I guess you're just a natural at it.
Oh, I can't help it.
I can't help it.
That shit just happens, man.
So my goal is to have comedy in Victoria, man. Like every comedian who comes to Victoria, they're like, "Man, Victoria's so cool. The shows are always so great. Where's your scene?" I'm like, "It's just me, as far as I know."
Yeah.
And if I'm wrong, somebody find me, Bubba Flores, on any kind of social media. If I'm wrong, if you do comedy secretly, come find me, because we're trying to build a community here. And so as of now, as far as I know, you got me, you got Cody, you have friend Alfred Davis, who also does it a little bit. He did it that night.
Yeah, he did good too.
He did.
I think he was the first one on stage.
He was the very first one on stage.
So I was like, oof. But he did. He did a good job.
Another friend of mine named Adrian Williams. And then there's a guy from Victoria who lives in Houston. I think his name is Michael something. He does comedy. And you know what I mean? So I would love to just keep building it. Like I'm hoping it's like the fire under people. They're like, "Oh, this is great. We can actually do something here. Maybe we should do an open mic in Victoria and see if come, you know?"
Yeah, especially with like local comedians, right? Because I want to say our previous shows have all been like promoted locally, but with comedians from outside.
Because there's nobody
Victoria.
here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, it's for the longest time, it's just me, you know?
Yeah, you definitely have to build your own community here, right? Like,
And so, yeah. So this show I'm going to host it this time. Cody's also going to do a little guest spot. Adrian's going to do a little guest spot. Keep some local dudes on it. And then we're going to have Sonia Trevino and Mario, they're from the Valley, come up here. They're very funny. They're so funny, dude. And I'm really excited about that.
It's going to be topless comedy.
oh yeah, dude. Shirtless, I like it.
No way. That's too white. If I took my shirt off right now, it would just be a white.
Oh.
Gotta change the ISO.
Yeah,
on my
everything will be a wash.
It'd just be
It's like, I mean, look at my legs right now.
for
They
real.
look like glow
Like,
sticks.
you see that? Look at that. Look how bright that is.
I mean, damn.
porcelain skin.
So on that last episode, I like your show. I don't get to watch every episode.
Thanks.
I don't get to watch every episode, but I do try to watch. I love to support.
Hey, thanks for making me feel like an asshole, because I never heard of this show before
Well,
you asked me.
We're small time.
I like people. I had a podcast for a little bit.
Oh, really?
Called the Cobra Kai Dropouts. Called the TCK Dropouts, and we talked about anything, everything, all sorts of stuff. Me and my friend Steven. And what we loved to do was interview people who were doing something.
Yeah.
Who were
for
doing
sure.
something. Art, music, video. We had Jake, on it. We were just fans of people who were doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doesn't matter if you're super successful at it. I mean, that's a relative term, like, in money wise, or it's just a hobby of yours, like you're an artist and it's just a hobby. Cool. Because my whole thing is, and I think Cody said it earlier, life is short, dude. It's too short to be like, I want to do this, but I don't know if I can. Just do it. Just give it a shot.
Yeah, get out of your own way, right? Just fucking do it.
And so when I see people doing stuff, I try to support it. So yeah, I've watched the show a few times.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate you, man.
And
Well, it's kind of like me. I did pro wrestling.
yeah, you did pro wrestling.
You did
Look at
pro
this.
wrestling?
Yeah, I trained to be a pro wrestler. Did it
You
for a
look
little
like
while.
a pro wrestler.
And yeah, I didn't like all the drug use and stuff back behind the scenes.
Can you still do it?
Do it. Dude, when I did Dancing with the Stars here in Victoria, and me and Jasmine Haynes, 6 years ago, we won that thing. Or 4 or 5 years ago, whatever. We won that thing, and I took a back bump on the stage at the Welder Center.
Yeah.
Dude, I had to go see a chiropractor for a month after that bump. So, I mean, I'm sure I could do it, but it'd take some time to get back into the swing of things.
Were you a heel?
I was a heel and a face, depending on where you go. You had to travel everywhere, all
How
over
long did you
little
do that
independent. I think better part of a year.
Really?
Yeah.
How many events did you do, you think?
I don't remember, so long ago. I tried to do as many as I could.
That's crazy.
Sounds like a lot of dancing, dude.
And then, oh, dude, it hurt. I remember I got thrown in Texas City. I was in a battle royal, and I got thrown over. It was on a gym floor, and and I got thrown over the top rope and hit straight on that gym floor, like all hip. My hip still hurts today just thinking about it.
What was your character?
Dozer?
Dozer.
My finish move was clear out.
How did you dress?
I had like jean shorts, and I had a singlet up top, and then I came out with flannel, like cut off sleeves. You know, old country.
I like it.
So it was fun. I really enjoyed it because that's, you know, I always wanted to do that. But it was that I'm one of those types that I'm not out. Drugs really not my big thing. So. And I don't like being around it, and I just found myself that so many of those guys are into that, and it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go now.
All right. Well, on that note, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll come right back.
Yep.
Hey there. I just want to take a second to thank you for watching the Elite4 podcast. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, because that really helps our channel grow. And if you're feeling extra generous, share us with a friend. Tell your mom about us. Tell anyone. We greatly appreciate you here at Elite4. Now back to the podcast. All right, and we are back once again on the E4 podcast.
E4.
So yeah, we're talking about this last show at Dodge, and we're looking forward to the next one.
I'm very excited.
But no, we got our asses handed to us that night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did y'all make money at least?
Yeah, we made good money.
Good.
Yeah, like
Good. And I don't know if she said it, Tina, but we're usually good about being like, hey, make sure you tip.
Dude, y'all mentioned it.
Okay,
y'all
good.
mentioned it.
Good.
And like, so at Dodge, we really enjoy our comedy nights there, because it does bring in like a different demographic than normal. And normally those people just, the demographic it brings in, they just tip a little bit better. So like comedy shows, I always like working the comedy shows, because I just know tips are gonna be good. People are a little more polite because they're actually there for like an event. They're not just there trying to get fucked up and stuff, you know. But no, our asses did get handed to us that night. Like I remember thinking like around 11 o'clock. I looked at the time and I was like, damn, dude, like I'm already tired. Like, you know, like, because we had that early rush, right? Normally we get busy around 11 to 12 o'clock at night, but with the comedy show, we got busy early. So we were scrambling around. Like, I don't think any of us expected to get that busy, but we did, and we managed it just right. I mean, we were good. We weren't in the weeds too much. We did all right.
Dude, I had to leave my truck there and get a ride home that night.
Yeah, too much to drink?
Everybody kept buying me drinks.
Yeah, me too, man.
Y'all were the rock stars that night, you know?
I had a great night that night. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
So I was watching your last episode, and y'all were talking about pet peeves, right? And y'all were talking about, jerks or just whatever. So
customers being jerks to us?
So you were. Yeah, I wish I wrote it down. So y'all were talking about, like, let's say you're at the bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
You say your bar is busy as hell, right? Now y'all have a horseshoe, right? And so I believe one of the girls was saying she would go down, the line, and then when she's done with that, comes back the other way, right?
Snakes back.
So you just have to wait. Me being I bartended a little bit and I worked at restaurants and stuff, so I understand service. But I'd never really heard that. I don't know what y'all's system is for whenever you're ordering, when you're going down the line. So like whenever y'all were saying my pet peeves, people are always like, hey, or you're right here, making a drink. Hey man, can I get a Crown and Coke whenever you get a minute? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And y'all don't like that. What would you rather, like, what would be, give me an ideal customer.
Well,
you're packed. Let me paint the scenario. You're packed. It's that night. And let's say I did that. Let's say you were standing right here making another drink. I slid the 20 and said, whenever you get a minute, man, can I get a Crown Coke?
So if you say it like that, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It just depends on the bartender, right? Like some bartenders are very systematic, like this person. And other bartenders, me and some other ones in town, we're more about speed bartending. So if someone says, if I hear just out of earshot, hey, can I get a Crown and Coke when you get a chance? And I don't even make eye contact, I still registered it.
You did?
So, yeah, so I'll register what you said, especially if you didn't yell it at me. If you yell it at me, I'm not going to fucking respond to it at all.
And here's the question, too. Yelling. What does that mean? Now, are we talking like trying to speak over the noise?
Oh, yeah. Like
or
over
yelling at you?
They got a Crown and Coke!
Yeah,
Like that?
Yeah.
What if you said please?
Oof. Nah.
Still no.
Maybe. I don't know. This actually depends.
What about
It
a
also-
please motherfucker?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Please motherfucker, can I get
I'd probably
a
do it.
Crown
'Cause
and
It
Coke?
would probably make me chuckle, so I'd probably do it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it's just like, it's just whatever. So with me, I would register it, and then next time I make drinks, I would just throw that Crown and Coke in.
What if
like-
they assigned you a name that is not your name? Like,
So that's
hey
another
Tina,
question.
will you get me a beer?
Tina? No, it had to be a cool name.
But what about like, hey bud, hey pal,
That's
hey,
fine.
you
Totally
like
fine.
that?
Yeah.
One time I was at a bar.
Ned Chicken Dance.
I'll chicken dance.
I was at 205 when it was 205, not when it was Greeks. Back in the day.
Back in the day, before the Double Deuce.
I think it might have been the Double Deuce, maybe.
Okay.
But me and my cousin walked up to the bar. It's a busy night. We stand in a space that's open.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little over here. My cousin looks at me and jokingly goes, "Excuse me, barkeep." And she heard that and got pissed.
What?
She goes, do not call me that.
Wow.
And that set me off to being like, he said barkeep, which is what you are.
And it's actually a nicer way of saying
we don't know your name.
Yeah.
You're like, you're not wearing a name tag. I was like, what could he have said?
Bitch.
And mind
That's
you,
what I said.
and like I said, he didn't say it to her. He said it to me. He was like, he looks at me, he goes, "Pardon me, barkeep." You know what I mean? He just made a little joke. And she got mad. Like, is there something like that sets you off?
No, man. Like, you know, bartending's not for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Especially people with thin skin.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just, if someone were to call me Tina, you know, I probably would laugh it off first. And if it really bothered me, I might be like, hey, my name's not fucking Tina, dude. Like, you know, just whatever. But I'm not going to kick you out of the bar or go off on you.
It would be so hard for me to be a bartender and not be drunk and be at the same level as the people. That's the part, but you're on a different level than the person across the bar. Like, because by that point, if I go up there, if I call you Tina, just know that I've been drinking and having fun and all that, and that I've probably been fucking with somebody else too.
I didn't bartend at I say it's not a real bar. I bartended at Schrader, which was just beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not bartending really. I'm just grabbing beers, grabbing mixers, stuff like that. And I loved it. It was super awesome.
Yeah.
It was very easy. It's just beers, you know. Pop, pop, pop.
Yeah,
Open them
just
up.
popping beers all night.
Pop them up.
Easy peasy.
But also people they're drunk. They're like, "Let me get a Bud Light." I'm like, "Dude, our draft Bud Light is only $1." They're like, "No, it's a little cup. I don't like that." I go, "It's 12 ounces. That's what the bottle of beer is." He goes, "No, it's different." I grab the cup. I go, "It says 12 ounces." I'm arguing with this guy. I'm trying to help you out, bud.
Nah.
Just forget
No,
it.
sir. We don't help him out at all.
No, you don't.
We don't. So, like, so if I
Do
know
you try to upsell?
That's the name of the game. Upsell and
You have to,
upsell,
right?
upsell.
I mean, so either you upsell or you try to do quantity sales, right? Like,
Okay.
you know, so a lot of time I don't try to upsell. If someone tells me what they want, then all right, cool, that's what you want, right? Like if you
Vodka,
want
Tito's and soda.
Cheetos and soda, like, you know, if someone orders a vodka and soda, that's what I'm going to make them, because if they want to spend extra money on Tito's and soda, they would say Tito's.
I actually do
So-
drink vodka soda that night, and I did just say vodka, so I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I just gave me well.
Yeah, so I just gave you the well. Now, as far as upselling goes, the right way to upsell is to ask if they want other things, like shots. Like, all right, vodka soda coming up, y'all want any shots? Like that, and then it just makes their order bigger, right? Yeah, go ahead and give us a round of Fireball, and then boom, like that's the upsell.
Man.
That's the upsell that you really want to do. Instead of just
Something else said that bothers y'all.
yeah.
I do it.
What? Oh, what do you do?
And
What do you do? I'll let you know if
And
it's
I
that
got
bad.
I got so upset. I try to be polite. The service industry in general, you know, I try to be polite to everybody. But like, you know, when people are having it's a whatever job already, I'm not going to make it more difficult.
Okay.
And so one of them was, y'all don't like it when, hey, let me get 3 beers, let me get 3 Millers and a Bud, and you come back. Can I also get a vodka soda and a Crown and Coke, please?
The
And
double
y'all
order.
said y'all hate that when you double order. But like, dude,
I think what I said on it was,
what if
I'll
I
give
didn't
you
think
one.
about it? What if I didn't think about it
Yeah.
until you got back?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she wanted a Crown and Coke too.
Yeah, so like it just depends on how experienced your bartender is. Like,
Yeah.
so with me, I give most people one double order, right? You
Yeah.
come up, you say your order, come back, you say, hey, can I have a vodka soda? But at that point, I'm already fixing to make the next person's order, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just tack your order onto that.
Yeah.
So you just gotta wait a little bit longer, and you know. But here's that. Now, if you come at me again after that second order, and you're like, oh, can I also have 5 of these? I'm like, you gotta wait for that one now.
Okay.
Like, you know,
I don't think I've ever heard a bartender say you gotta wait. So I guess I don't do it. I don't do it enough.
Yeah. And it also depends. Like, if no one else is at the bar, then sure, we're gonna do it, right? Now we're talking like fucking. We're in the fucking weeds. We're fucking going. I got 10 other people in line waiting to order as well, right? So we're talking pretty extreme circumstances because I think the night of the comedy show, we were in the weeds a lot. There was only 2 bartenders, and I had another bartender that was just only making the waitress tickets, right? Whatever the waitresses were putting in, and he was pretty in the weeds as well. So, but I mean, as far as the bar goes, we didn't have that much trouble at the bar. I think I just had one lady that night yell at me, and I just asked her why you're yelling at me, and then she was like, "Oh."
What did she say?
She was just screaming at me. She was just screaming, "Hey!"
What was she screaming?
Her order.
Okay.
She was just screaming her order at me while I was talking to someone else. So I was all like,
"What'd she order?"
It was a vodka, Tito's and something. Tito's and soda, probably.
I'm deaf. Like, I'm deaf, right? And I talk loud in general. Like, my wife's like, "Why are you yelling?" And I don't know I'm yelling. I'm just talking to where I can hear myself, which is loud. And mind you, I'm in a bar, it's loud. And so what do you get mad if they're yelling their order?
I mean, so it's different. It's different when, I mean, you kind of know if someone just has a commanding voice or just like a loud voice. You just know because also the tone goes with it too, right? But like in this case, this lady, not only did she yell once, but then she repeated herself. So she's looking for the attention, like, hey, can I get to, hey, like, you know, it's like, yo, I hear you, lady. You're clearly screaming at me because you want me to respond. Like, you know, but it's just that. It's just whatever. Like,
yeah.
The only things that really make us mad are the straight up things that are rude, right? Or you can just tell they're disrespectful. If very rarely I feel like bartenders should get mad at something that's not being disrespectful. Kind of like that bartender at 205.
It was very weird. Yeah.
That's a weird scenario. Like,
ago.
obviously a bartender with thin skin. Someone call me barkeep, it literally wouldn't faze me. I wouldn't even consider that as disrespectful. I'd be like, yeah, that's what I am. I'm a barkeep.
What would you rather, like you personally?
I don't care.
You seem very laid back as a bartender.
I don't care.
Could I be like, "What's up, hey bud," or you know, whoever,
yep,
you know,
just cool. Because if we don't know each other's names, I mean, bartenders do the same thing.
Exactly.
Like, I'll call you, hey, what's up, sir? How's it going? Like, what's up, my dude? Like, whatever. Because we don't know each other, but we're being polite to each other, right? Like, you want a drink, I'll make it for you.
You know, I was saying about people who say, "Hey, my dude."
My dude, what?
Yeah, I say those dudes like bone meat.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's just like, "Hey, my dude." That's just like, I don't know what it is.
You don't like it?
I don't know. It just seems weird.
It's a weird phrase.
So I always just, like when people write that on my Facebook posts, I'll be like, "What's it like in bone meat?" Just curious.
I say
I'm just talking like chicken, you know.
I say
they take it however they want,
like
but
bone meat.
Bone meat.
Bone meat.
Are you talking dicks or just like
nah bone meat?
Like
chicken, ribs.
Is there something wrong with liking bone meat that I'm missing here?
No.
I say my guy.
I just think
my guy.
Bone meat.
Yeah, so I'll say if someone says my dude to me, I'll respond with my guy.
When I hear my dudes, I think of that dude in the Spider-Man outfit. It's like a TikTok.
Oh, it's Wednesday, my dude.
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
Yeah. I feel like he made it kind of popular too, right? Because I think I saw that and I laughed at it. And I probably said it all week too.
I'm a smartass in general.
Yeah.
And I was a waiter for a few years, and I would just be a smartass to people. Like, I'm sure y'all get this, right? They're like, "Why is it so expensive? Why is this so expensive?" And sometimes I'd be like, "I don't know." Or sometimes I'll get down and I go, "Well, you know what? The owners probably took the price of whatever the food costs, right? Then the price to prepare it. Also, they need to leave room to make a profit, but also to be able to pay their employees. And we have electricity; we need to pay for that. So that's why the price is this. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just be a smartass about it. Like, why do you think, bud? Like, I don't make the price.
Selling high end shit like I have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to get people to spend $50,000 to $100,000.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Why is it so expensive?"
Yeah,
I was like, do I really need to break this down for you?
I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to sell $12
Those
worth of
seats are going to
tamales.
massage your ass.
Yeah.
All right? They're going to massage that ass. And you want to ask, why is it so expensive?
Man, I had a dude walk in. It was during Christmas. I work at a Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
Tamales, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't order these tamales the day before, they're gone. All right? There's nothing I can do for you. He comes in. He sits down at the table. He goes, "We'll have this, this, and this." can I get 3 dozen tamales to go? And I go, I'm sorry, sir, we're out. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, we don't have any more, we're out.
You're all
he
gone,
goes,
sir.
so are there going to be some later? I go, possibly, but right now we don't have any. He goes, what do you mean we're out? I go, and I get down like I did. I go, people came in here with currency we accept, and we traded our goods for that currency. I was like, he goes, so you're telling me if I wanted to place an order for 100 tamales right now, you wouldn't buy them? I go, we don't have them. I go, bud, I'm not trying to upsell you tamales right now. I don't have a box of tamales in the back that I'm trying to be like, I'm going to raise the price on these tamales once we get low, supply and demand. I go, we don't have any. He goes, okay. It just so happened through the meal, they had made more tamales. I came up to him. And I go, hey, dude. I grabbed 3, too, to make sure. I go, hey, dude. We got tamales. I go, do you want 3 dozen? He goes, yeah, give me 3 dozen miles. He goes, hey. Never say no to a sale. I go, we didn't have them.
Oh, my God.
I go, we didn't have them. I go, let me buy your car for...
I would have turned around and be like, you know what, we're out again.
No, I go, let me buy your car for $30. And he goes, what? I go, never say no to a sale, dude.
Dude, for real.
I was like, you can say no to a sale.
It's the ignorance of people.
But, dude, I was like, bro, I said it out loud. I go, we didn't have them. And so I don't know what I'd be like as a bartender.
You yelled at a customer
I yelled
tamales?
like that, dude.
Damn.
Because he kept going, man.
Yeah, I felt like that one deserved it.
He kept going.
He asked for it.
I'm very polite. And I was like, I'm sorry, sir, we're out. And he said, he goes, what do you mean you're out? And I go, people come in with currency.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If being a bartender, do you think you would be able to put up with people's shit a little easier if they paid you in commission instead of an hourly plus tips?
Ooh, you get like a 5% commission on every...
If you got a percentage of the take that night. And that was your deal. You just, because I'll tell you this, I've worked commission for a long time, and I've learned to put up with people's shit.
So you're saying, yeah,
a lot more than I ever would have at an hourly rate.
Yeah. So, man, that's tough, right? Because bartenders here don't really get paid anything per hour, so you could factor that out immediately. Like literally, my checks from Dodge say $0 on it, $0, because we got to pay taxes
tips?
all on tip. Our tips get taxed.
Because you get paid like the 2 something an hour, or whatever.
an hour.
Yeah.
So I mean, what that paycheck is like? What, like $40 if I work fucking 20 hours?
at the restaurant it was 20.
Yeah,
I got $20.
And then you gotta pay taxes on all the tips that you claim. So that I get $0 checks. But if I think anything performance based is better than salary. Because I believe.
I'm glad you said that.
I believe
I
believe getting paid for results as far as just time, right? I hate the idea of trading time for money. I'd rather give you a product or results for money.
Yeah. And you know what? I think if everybody did that, like service wise, if we're talking, because Victoria, that's the biggest struggle here with like restaurants and everything is finding adequate service staff.
Yeah.
And if they were paid based off of like what they did,
commission based,
like success. I mean, I think we'd find some pretty good servers here.
Yeah, I think that's actually the secret to maybe balancing out the service industry, because the service industry is kind of split right now, right? Because you pretty much have the way we do things here in America versus how they do it overseas. Like in Europe, there is no tips, right? They don't tip their bartenders. All the bartenders and servers all just make a good wage for their whatever, and the cost is put into the food, whatever, to pay for their wages. So you get higher food costs for the higher labor costs, but then the customer doesn't have to tip the employee. So that's how it is. Over here, we save the business owner from having to pay high labor wages for that cool waitress pay, which is $2.15 an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the servers are reliant on the customers to tip them to make a decent wage.
How do you feel?
But I think that way is extremely broken, right? Because it highly favors the business owner, but it also favors the bartender if they have a good clientele and if their clients or customers are open to the idea of tipping, right? Like if you get good tips, like last night we made $200 last night behind the bar. We worked for 6 hours, and we weren't that busy, so it was good, right? I think here in the United States, if we would swap over to the European way of doing things, like making, I don't know, like $15 an hour and do no tips, I think most people wouldn't do it. But if it was,
you would do it because you'd be losing money.
We'd be losing money. But if we did something like performance based, to where we got a cut of our sales, then I think the real bartenders would love it. Because the real bartenders are the people that fucking go out to kick ass, and we want to.
You think about, you wouldn't lose bartenders. Like, you'd actually be able to keep bartenders that think this is a viable future for them, because it could actually be a career then.
Yeah, but I think because you are making the bartenders actually hustle for their fucking money, you would lose bartenders. I think you would lose bartenders at first. Like, you would shake all the weak branches off.
You would keep the good ones, because the good ones are going to be the ones who hustle.
Yeah.
And that's, at the end of the day, that's who you want in any service line, or who's going to get down and do the work. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And not afraid to do the work. That the ones that you just said who are afraid of the hustle, they're the ones you want to get rid of in this. The
leeches is what we call them. Because like at Dodge, we split tips, right? So, I mean, you could look at our sales as per bartender, and you could say, oh, this person sells a lot, this person sells a lot. These other bartenders really don't do much.
And
they're just kind of there.
And they still get the same amount of tips?
They still get the same amount of tips. So if I have a bunch of my friends come in and I sell $3,000 worth of alcohol, and my partner only sells $500 worth of alcohol, we still walk out with the same amount of money, because all the tips, we combine them and we split them between the two, right? But it works better whenever you have two good bartenders and they both bring in, and we all make more money. But some people are okay with that. Like, they have the idea of, oh, no matter what I do tonight, like, I'll make this at least this much money. And especially some of the bigger bars like Shooters, last time I checked, they do a complete tip share. So it doesn't matter if one bartender kicks ass versus this bartender who dragged ass all night. They all combine tips and get even amount of pay.
I don't like
tips.
that.
I don't like that either.
At Schrader, it's split.
Yeah, I think if you're gonna have a tip jar, you set up your bartender wear a name tag and have tip jars with the bartender's name on it.
Yeah, that works too, for sure. And that's the way I prefer it. Unless I know my partner is just like me and is about that hustle, then I'm like, cool, let's team up. Let's not have to worry about what money goes in what jar. We'll just both kick ass together and we'll do good.
Yeah, but like over there, you got what, 3 different bars, 2 different bars?
Where at Shooters? Yeah. So I would only partner with the person next to me.
I don't think I've
physically next to me.
I don't think I've ever been to that new Shooters.
Yeah, there's different bars, so like you don't know. I mean,
that place,
yeah,
rough.
Is it rough? What do you mean rough?
I don't know. I just don't like it. It's just too much.
Is it because it's too much people, or?
Well, there's a lot of people.
Is it young?
It kind of, I don't know. Is
it young? Is that why?
No, I don't even think it's that young, but it's just, I don't know. It's not very welcoming. You got to stand the whole time.
Not much chairs.
Impossible to find a place to park your ass. Like the last time we were in there, it literally just stood the whole time, and it was not what I want to do. So
it's been a hot minute since I've been to Shooters. It's been at least a year.
I think I've been there one time. The Shooter, when I moved next to the floral place, I don't think I've been there except the one time.
I like Aerocrafters. That's my.
I like Aerocrafters,
good,
man.
That's a good, good
it's
bar,
got good beers on tap. It's huge. You don't have to be surrounded by people all the time, but there's people there. And I tried to do comedy there one time. It was a nightmare.
Really? Outside?
They did like an open mic there, and I was like, okay, cool. Comedy, you need people to pay attention.
Well,
It's not music. Music, we could be talking, having this whole conversation while a band is playing.
Yeah.
And as soon as that band is done with that song, we would still go, all right, yeah.
Yeah. Good
Awesome,
job.
man.
That was good.
Man, that was a good guitar, blah, blah, blah. And keep going to what we're talking about. In comedy, you can't do that. If you don't hear the setup, you're not going to get the punchline. You know what I mean? You have to pay attention.
Yeah, I guess you're right, because I guess that's the big difference between music and comedy. Is music, you don't have to pay attention.
No, you really don't.
Comedy is definitely the center of attention.
In fact, a guy could be crushing it, right? Let's say a dude's wailing on the guitar. You would turn around and be like, are y'all hearing this? Like, look how great this guitar player is. Like, listen to him. Listen to how great. Like, him right there. You see it? That's so good. You could talk that entire time he's doing his thing. And still appreciating it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Comedy, you can't do that.
Nope.
You have to listen. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And so, I remember I did it, and I walked off stage. I was like, I'm not going to do that. He goes, man, that was good. We should do it again next time. I was like, nope. I'll come play music. I was like, I'm not going to do that again. But that was weird.
Does it throw you off whenever you see people not like into your?
Because I will focus on the ones who are.
Okay.
Well, see, I'm different. I start getting like flustered when people aren't like paying attention or engaging.
Yeah.
I do better. I'm more of the one like when they get rolling, everybody, and I feed off of the crowd. Like I feel like I do better when I got the crowd more hot and going.
Like in that instance, like I would just pay attention to the ones who are paying attention. Like, you know what I mean? Like, forget the dudes in the back next to that other bar out there. I'm not gonna reach them. But these people are paying attention, and these people are paying attention. So guess what? I'm talking to them. I'll make jokes about them and go back to here and do this. And so it's still good, but I was like, that was not ideal.
Okay. All right. Well, before we sign off, there's one more thing I wanted to talk about.
Let's go.
And it is, what is y'all's scope or range whenever y'all make a set of comedy, of sketches or whatever it is? Like, is there certain topics that y'all just won't touch? Or is everything free game? Or do y'all have topics that you just love doing? Like, do y'all like telling fat jokes? Or do you steer away from politics? Like, is there any rules y'all have for yourself that could be just, personal rules?
Comedy in general, my true belief is there shouldn't be rules to it. Mm-hmm. That's my belief, that it is an art form, and we live in a country, it's a free country. Now, whether or not I agree with what the person is saying, you know what I mean? That's a different story. That's a morality thing. You know what I mean? But I believe it's his right to say it.
To say it,
if
right?
He wants
well,
to.
like when we went to San Antonio, there was one guy who referenced the Uvalde joke or Uvalde shooting,
and it had just happened the day before.
Yeah,
Oof.
we were all sitting there like eyes wide, like, oh my god, this guy.
Now, he's one of the guys I'm talking about who I've seen do great, kill. He didn't do great that night. I even looked for him afterwards. I wanted to talk to him, and he had booked it. He had left, and so even that, right? That was not a great joke.
Yeah, that was
right. He even said it. He goes, okay, that was way too soon, and he acknowledged it, and so there's that. We have a free country. I believe in freedom of speech, and comedy is a free form. Now that's up to you as an individual to decide whether or not you should say these things. Now. Do I choose not to say things? I'm a lighthearted guy. I don't particularly pay attention to politics enough to comment on it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I would be shooting in the dark. I don't focus on it enough. I talk about me, my family, my friends. Pretty much really that's it. I talk about just my life in general. I'll make up dumb things here and there to elaborate a story, but now, do I have anything that's off limits? I don't know. Like I said, that's up to you. I do have stuff that I haven't told on stage before out of fear of what people might think. Yeah. So I guess I do have a line somewhere.
Yeah.
And, maybe I'll do it one day and see how it goes. And maybe
let me know how it goes, dude.
I won't cross the line with my faith. And I just can't do anything like God related or church related. I just can't. It's just not what I want to do. Uh-huh. So,
that's fine. Having your own boundaries is okay.
Yeah.
But as far as I feel like there's a certain movement that I see at comedy shows, how the audience sometimes doesn't know if they should laugh, even though if they want to laugh.
Well, I'll tell you this: if you go to a comedy show, you have to laugh.
Yeah,
literally,
but
literally everything that guy's saying is a joke. You know what I mean?
What if someone made a handicap joke, right? And there's a guy in a wheelchair right there. Do you laugh at that joke? Because he's
depends.
there.
Is he laughing?
I don't know,
but he might be cracking up.
Yeah,
but I can tell you this: I do for the guys who are in wheelchairs here in Victoria. They do a softball tournament every year. I go out to commentate their games for them, that tournament. And we did it in July. Mm-hmm. And they want me to make fun of them. Okay. That is literally their thing, because Danny Camacho is the one who originally asked me to do this years ago. And that's what he wants. He wants us to make fun, to make them laugh. So when they're going up to bat, I mean, we're talking smack the whole time. and so most,
I gotta see this. That
generally speaking, those guys, they don't want to feel like they're not a part of what we are. Like, you know what I mean? They feel like outcasts when you're
not gonna make fun of him and then skip over this dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee, like Danny would be the type of if you made a wheelchair joke and he was sitting in that crowd, he would be probably fall out of his chair laughing.
So I guess it goes with taste then, really, because what kind is it? A crass,
I
terrible,
think just the problem is kind of with society, though.
Yeah,
it's not even just in shows. Everybody's so afraid to say the way they really feel with the new woke culture.
Yeah, they're afraid of offending the person.
They're going to get canceled or this, that, and the other. I can't tell you. Like, I posted some stuff on Facebook, and I had people message the owners of our company and try to, get me fired.
Really?
Yeah. But you know what? We all have opinions, all right?
I mean, it didn't work. I called like 5 times.
We all have opinions, and by God, you either, especially at a comedy show, you're either going to laugh or you're not. You can, just because you don't like my opinion, if I think pronouns are ridiculous and that's my opinion, you could disagree with me, and I could go up there and talk smack about them the whole time, and you could either choose, if it's funny, you could choose to laugh about it, even though you don't agree with it.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, guys, let's go ahead and wrap things up. We're at the end of our time allowed. September 10th. September 10th at Dodge City Saloon.
Shoot.
See Bubba. Cody, you going to be there?
Yep.
Cody and
then in October, we're going to be in Corpus.
Yeah, me and him got a
October
gig in October.
21st and 22nd.
Oh, nice. Catch these guys live at Dodge City Saloon and also in Corpus. And thanks for watching the podcast, guys, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
I never had a father.